At this time, I would like to call this meeting to order, the August 29th meeting of our Board of Education. And first item of business is to ask Mr. Terry Williams to be the leader in the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, you would join me? Face the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Tonight, I'd like to ask Ms. Carolyn Walker to give our mission statement.
Yes, sir. Beaufort County Schools will provide quality educational programs and services to ensure student, academic, and vocational success.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Next item is public comment, and I don't think we have anything, so we'll just keep right on moving. Next item is the approval of our agenda for tonight's meeting. Is there any additions or deletions? No? Okay. All right, got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of this motion say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. All right, the approval of our minutes. You have them there at your place. I'll let you look them over when you feel comfortable.
Move approval.
All right.
Second.
Feeling real good over here. All right, got a motion and a second.
Excuse myself, on the 8th and the 20th, I wasn't here.
The 8th and the 20th, please note that Ms. P will not. Just look it up, okay? Whichever one. Okay, all right. Any more discussion? Comments? Seeing none, all in favor of this motion say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next item is we need to go into closed session. And Ms. Booth, I'll turn to you for the motion.
I move that we go into closed session to prevent the disclosure of privileged information under general statute. That's North Carolina General Statute 115C-402 and 20 USC 123CG. Student records under North Carolina General Statute 115C-319 and 321. Consult with our attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privileges between the attorney and the board, which privilege is hereby acknowledged.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor of this motion say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay.
What we were talking about.
Okay, we need to get them vote on the personnel agenda.
Second.
Madam Chair. It's been moved and properly second that the personnel agenda be approved. Are there any questions? Let's get a vote. Aye. Okay. I have it. Okay, next on the list is no action is the Washington High School Soccer Complex update with Dr. Elizabeth Cook.
Hi guys, we're making progress. If you drive out there in the next couple of days, they're starting to log it out and it's starting to look like a field. As you know, it's been 3.5 years now. We are funded for phase one. Phase one involves the grading or the site prep of the whole lot. And that's the lot that will have the large soccer field on it, the football size practice field, and the 2 smaller fields, which we hope JROTC and the band will use. The other part of the funding of phase one is to finish the soccer field. Not sure when that's going to be done. It has to do strictly with when grass grows. And so it may not be seeded until later on. I don't know anything about grass, but luckily the people who are doing this project do. But that is the only thing that will be holding up that phase from being done. Phase two involves refurbishing the current football practice field, which, as I told you a long time ago, was built from the clay that was dug up when they built the school. Sometimes it's mud, sometimes it's dust, it's never grass, and most teams run up and down stairs to practice. We don't have to. They can chase the ball into the parking lot and back, and that will change as well. So there will be sanding, grading, irrigation, run off the current well for that field. And Phase 2 is also the football-sized practice field on the new lot. That will be available so that soccer, football can rotate where they practice so it won't tear up the turf. Some of you may know that at Wagner Stadium 2 years ago, the turf was unusable because it had been overused. So we're hoping to avoid that. The other thing that may well happen is the introduction of a new sport. Lacrosse had been mentioned. It depends what the participation is, but we should be set in terms of athletic fields for Washington High School. Hopefully forever, but pretty darn close. We have been very, very fortunate in the responses of both businesses and individuals in terms of contributions. B. Singleton is our contractor. He's subcontracted the logging and clearing, and as I said, that started earlier this week, or excuse me, started last week, and they're moving right along. And so if you drive out there, you're going to see a lot that doesn't look anything like it did even 2 or 3 weeks ago. The other thing to report is that Lowe's, as some of you may know, has a National Community Service Day. It's the weekend of September 12th through 14th, and we went and talked to the manager of Lowe's, and we are their project. So the things that we promised the Slatestone residents, which is you will have a buffer, that buffer is going to go in even before the fields are built. And they'll have Lowe's employees out there. Stan's going to go out, have his guys go out there with the auger to dig the holes. And so by next month, you'll see 3.5 years of work that's beginning to look like our really first-class outdoor sports complex. There we have it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Next item on our agenda is discussion action items, 6.1. Personnel agenda that was presented just...
We did that. You stepped out, they voted on it.
Oh, you did? Well, that's wonderful. Good. That's even better. All right. All right, 6.2 then. Golden League grant proposal. Ms. Pettaway. Tell me you voted on it.
Well, you told me to do what you didn't do. So that's what I did.
Okay. Communicate with me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We are back to hopefully get a decision tonight about the proposed CTE and other academy, the C Academy at the current Ed Tech Center. You've been given information on more of the breakdown of the cost that is involved with the overrun, the estimated transportation for the midday run, which was considerably less than what we initially thought. And also, I know Ms. Booth had a chance to visit the academy that we're hopefully going to base this one upon similarities. And we've also got 6 letters from various industry and the Committee of 100 members, as well as a masonry, actually 3 masonry companies, none actually that are in Washington, but from surrounding areas and the North Carolina Masonry Association that have pledged support. I know that some of your I guess reservations are the ongoing costs for this particular proposal. With the proposal that we're doing, we're including the cost of transportation for at least a year in the grant, as well as there is a distance learning facility that would require a facilitator that would also be included for a year in this particular grant. We feel really good about the support we've received from the community. I don't know if you have some questions that you want to ask, before we move forward, or I just wanted to give you a chance to look at the information in case you hadn't had an opportunity to do so prior to tonight.
Anybody have any questions?
Well, we have two attachments. I'm just trying to scan through. I looked
Yes,
at one
sir.
before I got here, so I'm
Yes,
just trying
sir.
to scan through.
One of the attachments, I believe, is all the letters. We've gotten them from IDX, Camfield, Beaufort Community College, Nutrien, the Committee of 100, and IMT. And then there was an email that was concerning Mr. Tim Manning is the masonry gentleman who had gotten some support from masonry companies and the North Carolina Masonry Association. What this tells me, and we've really had a group effort crossing many boundaries on this project, and what it tells me is that our businesses are in sore need of being able to hire some skilled labor, and they are willing, it seems, to support something like this. I know it is a big step, but I've received even 2 emails this week from across the country where other systems are doing similar things to try to meet needs.
I think the academy concept in itself is wonderful. I fully support that. I do, but when I say support, I'm just like these letters. Support doesn't mean money. You know, support means yay, but but I don't. A couple of them kind of indicate as things develop, we'd love to be able to help you, but none of that translates into upfront money. So
No, the one from Man of Masonry, he states that he can give materials, supplies, and
Right.
things like that. And so, I mean, that
not
would
ongoing.
be,
And-
my big concern there is having a masonry instructor.
We have one, actually, who can teach masonry, but there's not enough of him to teach all the courses that he's qualified to teach. David Dixon. He used to teach it at Washington High School.
Oh, yeah?
but would he not, if
He's the carpentry
did that,
teacher
would
at
he
Southside.
not, would he not do what he does at Southside?
That's the very reason we're looking to consolidate, because that would free him up with some of the courses that he currently must teach, because we're repeating courses across the
Right.
county, and that would free him up to be able to teach some other courses, because currently he does all the carpentry program, and he does drafting at Southside High School.
Right.
So we've had Matt Johnson look at this from MHA, who we've worked with before. Is that what I'm seeing here? There was a letter here from Matt.
Yep.
That was
On some of the
where
costs.
they had costed it out.
I mean, is that fairly accurate then? I mean, if it comes from Matt, I'm trying to assume it is, but there's a
assuming
whole
it
lot
is.
of questions around that too. I think the whole issue is how much money is this going to cost? And I've yet to hear a true figure of what it's going to cost and how much our reoccurring cost is going to be each year. But yet, I mean, I understand where you're coming from with it. But yet we're to take a vote on it, and I'm kind of getting ready to vote on something that I don't know what it's going to cost me. And that always scares me, because I always seem to tend to come out on the wrong end of that deal.
Well, we costed out as best we could what we think
Right.
we can predict with some accuracy. Some of the other costs, I really don't know how to go about projecting those costs, because we did the transportation, we did the person we would think. Now, I will tell you that with the BCS Virtual Academy, this past year we were able to draw money for 5 additional students. That would also be part of this particular academy as well. And that draws, for this coming 18-19 year, that's roughly $5,700 per ADM. And that, I did some investigation. Now, I can't tell you honestly how many more students we may be able to draw in that. I know last year was the first year.
What kind of participation, Wendy, do they have in Iredell? Why? And it costs $7,500 to visit a school? Why? That seemed kind of...
That was just an
y'all
estimate.
fly?
We're going to, no, it's not just going to be school personnel. We're planning on taking people to visit from the commissioners, from this board, from the community, from Beaufort Community College, because Mitchell Community College, even though it's not in Iredell Statesville, that's their community college.
And I'm sure that all of this, no matter where it starts, that there are some, some things are slow to get rolling, but this is a huge commitment of not just money if we get the grant, but ongoing monies from Beaufort County School Board. I want to make sure we're not spending this kind of money for 5 students.
Right.
So do you feel like there's a true interest Because I know some of our academies and some of our things, there was an interest, but they kind of, some of that has waned, and we don't have quite as many students that we were. I mean, have you gotten an interest from students saying they want to do this, or how are you going to pitch it to them other than just to say it's part of the curriculum if you want it? Are you wanting to recognize him?
So, Chairman, I don't.
Mr. Johnson, you want to?
I think you're totally correct that there does need to be a marketing campaign behind this as well. And a number of the companies that I visited have actually said that they will come to the schools, particularly Canfield. He said he would actually, unfortunately, he said his son's baseball game tonight, but he said he'd be here. So there is huge support from the companies, and they would actually come out and tell the students about what their companies do. They have the students visit them, they do internships, pre-apprenticeships. And in terms of money, unfortunately, Nutrient has said they're very interested in contributing some money, but at this point, we've got to go through the processes on that. But the 30,000 was mentioned in terms of transportation. I spoke to them about that amount, and maybe they will do that for at least 1 year. And it might be better to get them to contribute on an ongoing basis, maybe 10,000 a year rather than one per year. So there is incredible support from the companies that need the people. And I think if you see the Nutrient letter, they need 200 people in the next 10 years to replace who they've got. And I'd like those to be students from both counties as opposed from other counties.
I'm so hesitant to promise money down the road when we don't always, as you know, you've been in our budget meetings. We're losing people and eliminating positions. So I want to make sure that spending, if we get the grant, that's all great, but we've now committed to an ongoing expense every year to keep this program going. And is the money going to be there?
Yeah, I will tell you that we have doubled our internship program in each of the last 2 years. Last year we had 139 interns, and so that was double from the year before, and the previous year double. I know that I'll tell you that there has been a disconnect. We are just finally getting around to letting students know and understand that you don't necessarily have to go to a 4-year college to be able to make a good living. And there's still a lot of work to be done. I mean, that's very obvious. I can only tell you from what we've been able to do. We put out about 200 completers who have had at least 4 CTE courses every year, and that's with limited availability. We have been trying to recruit some more at our fire academy and also our automotive academy, and we do have students actually who are traveling to those schools this year that have decided to change schools to be able to go to those academies. So that we've created a better emphasis on that. We're really working on our marketing piece to try to make sure our students have those abilities. We're also starting a pre-apprenticeship this coming year with our juniors, Camfield, River City Construction, and I'm trying to remember the other one, but we have 3 IDX, I believe. Yeah. PAS, thank you, who are committed to doing pre-apprenticeships. So they are even willing to have juniors sign up and then take them through their senior year. We don't know how many that will be this year because it's the initial inaugural year for that. So I understand your hesitation, I honestly do. But I honestly think, and being from Beaufort County, and I'm sorry, my daddy was a CTE teacher, and we used to sit around the table and he'd say, Wendy, who's going to take my place? Who's going to be the carpenter? Who's going to do this? And I see our county dying in a lot of ways. And I didn't intend to do this.
Don't apologize for being passionate about helping our students. That's a wonderful thing, and I'm glad you took up the reins. Your dad would be very proud.
But I know it's a very difficult decision, and I wouldn't want to have it.
Well, my decision is not difficult about this program. I support it 100%. My decision is difficult about the money because I want to make sure I'm not committing monies that we don't have, because we're never assured from time to time. And the $10 million question goes back to the building itself. And we can never really use local monies to do anything to that building, according to our commissioners.
I'm gonna throw something
Yeah.
to a
And
man
we
sitting in
have
the
a-
audience, put him on the spot.
You're here for a reason.
Mr. Alligood, how do you feel like the county is gonna, one, feel about the renovations to the Ed Tech Center, and
Good question.
two,
Ongoing.
getting additional support to make this happen? To me, this is a field of dreams kind of thing. It's
Right.
you got to build it, and they will come. And I think they will come. I think it'll happen. But
But under the current situation, though, Butch, it makes it hard. I know where you're headed.
Yeah.
Because every time we come up with our capital list, the commissioners have been telling us, take Ed Tech out. And if we go and put this kind of money up front in a project at Ed Tech, we're going to have Ed Tech included back in the capital list each year from here on out.
I'm sorry, I don't know if this is why you were here or not, but
Probably not.
Probably not.
I'm happy to speak to what I can speak to.
Right.
And what I can tell you is when the presentation was made to the board, they were supportive of it.
Okay.
There were some direct questions that came from board members, but there was overwhelming, and I would say 6-1, overwhelming support for the program.
Okay.
So, and I know that there has been conversation in the past about the building. There hasn't been as much conversation since I've been there about that building. So we haven't had that conversation about would you be able to use local. I think it goes into you rank your priorities for what's available.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot,
No,
but
that's okay.
I saw you sitting there, and I was like, I think the county's buy-in on this is bigger than ours. I mean,
It is.
Just as important as ours.
If you look at the big picture, it's a win-win.
Right.
Because, I mean, it's great, and I mean, I've followed suit with Carolyn and Terry and Butch. We may very well get the grant, but next year it's going to cost us several $100,000 to keep this thing going.
Grants are
And on and on and on now, right? Success or failure, right? So, I mean, that's a heck of a buy-in for this board without county support. I mean, I'll put it just as blunt as I can, because we need to have county support as well as this board, and we come together as one team and make this thing happen. Or I don't know what else we can do. That's my mindset. I don't want to speak for everybody else.
Once again, support doesn't equal money, right, Brian?
Well, and I'm not able.
Well, no, I'm talking about money.
I know you are.
I'm not talking about, oh yeah, rah, rah, rah. I'm talking about break out the checkbook. I mean, I'm sorry.
No, she's
Well,
got
and I'm not able to speak to that.
No, I know, and I'm not putting you on, I'm not, but I mean, just,
But I will tell you that in the conversations that were had at the meeting, when the presentation was made, there was the same enthusiasm that this is a program that is a game changer, they felt too, for Beaufort County. And it will provide that level of educational experience that you guys do great at. And that we have seen unfortunately, and my mom and dad were both in the school business. At one time in our lives, we were saying everybody's got to have a 4-year education. And we kind of skipped there for a little while and now we're realizing that everybody doesn't have to have a 4-year education. Everybody's got to be ready for work, and everybody's got to be ready to be engaged. And if we don't have electricians and plumbers and masons and folks who understand trades, we're in trouble.
right.
Well, we're losing, our county population is getting smaller, and it's because we're losing people because they don't have anything to do. I mean, when they get out of high school, they have to go somewhere else to find a job, so they move somewhere else. Or they're traveling an hour to go to work or something. But if we can train them to do the jobs that are here and the jobs that are needed here, I mean, TW and I were talking about it, there's a lot of people that with a high school education, they have made a lot of money, and stayed right here in Beaufort County. Jim Burbage was welding teacher at Bath, and I've got numerous friends that have stayed right here in Beaufort County and fed their family off welding at PCS or Nutrien and Hackney and places like that right here in Beaufort, Canfield, Farr, Flanders, and all the places, you know, and it can happen.
Well, and there has been a tremendous coming together of multiple groups, the workforce development group, your folks, the economic development folks, in taking and making a different model and say, instead of saying, well, there's a job out there somewhere, you figure it out, going to those, the work they're doing now, and going to the businesses and saying, what is it you need and how do we help you have that pipeline, so that when you need that person, you already know that person because they've been interning with you, they've been working with you, and you're ready to plug them right in. They're there. So the groundwork that has been laid for all this from all of the entities, including your tremendous school staff, has been incredible. And that's not what's happened in the past. I mean, that has all come together in a realization that you can't just say, well, there's a job out there somewhere. We've got to help both the businesses and we've got to help the kids, and we've got to match those together. And when we're able to do that, and I think they are right on. I mean, I think all the work they've done, the pre-apprenticeship pieces that they're doing, and kids just have to understand that you don't have to leave Beaufort County to have a really good job and support your family and enjoy the life that you've made here.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
You ready?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Wendy, don't you need to be able to do, I mean, we're on a tight timeline for you, aren't we?
September 7th, the letter of intent is due. That doesn't guarantee that we'll get to submit a full proposal. It would be October when they told us if we could submit a full proposal or not.
Well, I'm more than happy to make a motion that we proceed forward with all the things that Wendy has to go through to get that in writing and get it sent off and all that kind of stuff. However, that needs to be worded appropriately.
I'll say.
I'll third it.
Carl, can I just say something before you make your motion,
Sure.
please? I just want to say that I did, as Wendy stated to you prior, I did visit the school on last Tuesday, and quite impressive. It was very impressive. And the most effective thing that I saw was their EC department and their culinary departments. Those are the two departments that actually stoned me, because their EC department had the whole wall of students who had gone through that program and had jobs. The other thing with the culinary department, their students do lunches on Friday and sell them to the police department, to the different organizations there in Iredell. And it was just like we're talking about a new world when we'll start talking about our children. And I just wanted to let you know that it's a great establishment, and the kids are coming. They started out this year with 120, and now they're up to 200 and some students that's coming over. So it's very, very impressive. I just want to let you know that. And I'm hearing that you might be going back, and I want to go back when you go back.
I heard that.
Well, I think some of us would like to.
That's what we would
Well,
like
I was
to do.
thinking for me, I know I want to go back. I don't know about others, I know I want to go back.
However, this motion needs to be for you to go forward. That's what my motion is. And I know I have full faith in your team that you will tweak and adopt, if you get the grant and if all these things fall in place, that you will find the right courses for the desires that are out there, not only for the companies that are looking for help, but also for the students and what, if it's culinary or not. But there, I think there's some things, and I trust y'all to find the right stuff.
Okay, got a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it, because while I don't know what's going to happen, I know what's going to happen if we don't do anything.
Right. I'm still afraid that we won't have the money, but we can't not do things because of fear.
That's
We
right.
sit here, it's pretty easy to figure out what we're gonna do, what's gonna happen.
This is very similar to a church meeting. We got to have faith.
That's right.
That's right.
Sometimes you just gotta do something, I mean, you can't make,
We
you
build
just
it
can't
to
make it
come.
sitting here looking at each other.
There's a movie like that.
You can't do it just sitting
Does
there.
anybody else have anything they want to say
We're building
before we
school
vote?
now, right?
No, I would give you a big hug if I could.
All in favor of this motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. All of y'all that were part of this, helping, thank you. Now your work's just starting, you know. Yeah.
Can't just sit here, just can't do it. All right, we gotta do something else.
Gotta do something. You're right.
All right.
Can't keep sitting around waiting.
6.3, alternate accountability model.
Thank you, Ms. Hamill, for showing up.
Miss Lily, Miss Hamill.
Thank you.
Oh, she's a part of the next.
Good evening. Each year, we come to you with our alternative accountability model for the EdTech Center. And
Thank you, Brian.
we are here tonight to once again get approval and request approval for option B, and that is the progress model. And that is the same model that we've used in the past years. It includes 20% student persistence, 20% student achievement, and 60% growth at the school. And that's also included in a change rate that they go through that looks from the previous year to the current year, and they would be either progressing, maintaining, or declining status with this model.
Okay. You ready for a motion on that one too? I already read through it. I make a motion to approve that. And I want to say it's very nice seeing you back at the podium.
Thank you.
All right, got a motion, got a second. Anything else? Anybody else got anything to say? Discussion? Okay. Ms. Hamill, you got anything you want to say?
We have 60 students this year. We started out with 60 students.
That's awesome.
And growing.
That is great. That is awesome.
Good.
Is it?
Very good.
Well,
Okay.
I know what you're saying.
Is it? Pathways, okay, I'm going.
That's what I was
Is that-
I didn't want to explain
I want to hear what you meant.
It's a good thing.
Okay.
Did we vote?
All in favor of this motion? We haven't voted yet. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. All right, you can leave now.
When you said
Thank you, ladies.
I knew what you meant.
All right, capital update. Mr. Stain.
That's right, I wasn't sure.
Good gosh.
Good afternoon, everyone.
There's a lot of it out here.
Lengthy one tonight. First one I'm presenting is the capital update dated 8/29/30, it's fiscal year, 18 projects, 17/18. Just to give you an update on where we're at. The Chocowindy Primary Media Center roof project is approximately 90% complete. They would have completed it this week, but I asked them to wait until the weekend due to all the traffic at the school. And the project's still on budget. There had been no hidden damage or additional cost to that project. Washington High School band boosters roof replacement. It too is about 90% complete. They're actually one piece of metal short on their second order. Their first order of metal came in the wrong shade, and we made them send it back because it did not match our school blue. And there was some damaged wood found under the shingles once they were removed, but we were able to use some of the recycled materials that we took down from the south side cafeteria wall project to make those repairs. The 1819 project, John Cotton Taylor tankless water heaters. This project has been completed by my staff, my operations staff, well under budget. The actual cost was $4,588. We had a budget of $8,400. And this difference is due to us doing it versus hiring a contractor, so we were able to save that money. Northside High School tankless water heater project, we installed the water heaters that supplies the kitchen. They're in operation, and we're currently waiting. Only thing to finish that part of the project is waiting on a canopy quote of a canopy to cover it, just to keep those out of the weather, because they are bolted on that exterior wall. And we are currently working on the water heater installation that supplies the general hot water heater to the school. Any question about those?
Aren't they made to go on the exterior wall?
Yes, sir, but we just like to do it so we have to work on them or give us some coverage and just to keep from anything from rusting. There are stainless steel units and everything. All the ones we put in so far, we put an awning over top of them.
Okay.
Yep. Moving on. Seeking approval on EdTech This is one of our capital items for this year. EdTech Media Center roof replacement RP was posted on our website and emailed out to all local contractors, roofing contractors. Bids were received on the 15th and were opened by Administrator, and Curtis Construction of Kinston was the low bid in the amount of $39,800, including taxes.
I think you need to go back and check. I think it's Curtis and Curtis.
Yeah, not Curtis Construction.
There's too many of those Curtises.
Yeah, but that's two different people. There's Curtis and Curtis Construction right now.
I think Curtis and Curtis had the low bid, and
Well, it's got written on here.
your next statement, you say to do it with
Maybe
Curtis and Curtis.
Yeah, these Curtises get us all confused.
Yeah, one of them needs to change their name.
Yeah, in one paragraph, you've got Curtis Construction, and the next one, you've got Curtis and Curtis.
There's only one Curtis and there's two Curtis.
Well, I guess there's three.
Curtis Construction.
I don't know if they're not.
Curtis Construction, $39,800. Curtis was $41,400.
Well, you need to correct that
You need
then.
to make that change there.
Okay, on my sheet, that's what it says.
I got Curtis Construction.
That's what mine says.
On- in
That's
the
Curtis
first
Construction, in the second paragraph.
No, I'm
that
talking
says
What page are you guys on?
On
Okay, in
this.
my recommendation, you're correct,
Right.
yes.
That's right.
Yes, that is a typo, yes.
Yeah, you're in the summary. I was just looking at the
You're
actual
gonna make
bid.
I hadn't got that for you yet, I hadn't
Gonna
seen
make Curtis
that.
and Curtis mad because you just gave it to him and took it
It
away.
used to be his company, so.
You're going with the low bid.
Yes, sir, go on the low bid of Curtis Construction in the amount of $39,800 is my recommendation on that project.
And we'll amend the recommendation part.
We need to make sure it's right in case we get audited.
I got it here. We will get it changed or corrected. Let me proceed with the rest of them before we
Yes, sir.
take a vote.
We'll do them all at one time.
Beth Elementary Office project, the RFP was sent out, the same as the others. 2 bids were received and opened by admin. Advanced Air Solutions, Inc. of Washington was the low bid of $5,119.96, including taxes, and we had a budget of $7,000. So that leaves us $1,480.04 on that project. So it's my recommendation that we enter into a contract with Advanced Air Solutions, Inc. in replacement of the Bath Elementary School's HVAC system in the amount of $5,519.96.
Okay.
Chocowinny Middle School Media Center HVAC units replacement RFP was also posted, sent out to the same mechanical contractors, and we had 2 bids again. Robertson Heating and Air of Washington had the low bid of replacing the 2 units at $10,700. There's 2 5-tons, and it's including taxes. And we had a budget of $11,000, so we had a remaining $300. It would be my recommendation that we enter a contract with Robertson Heating and Air.
All right, you want to stop right there, and we'll go ahead and vote on them 3 right there?
Correct.
If the board, what?
Move approval.
Move approval.
Okay. Second. All right, got a motion and a second. No discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
This is, my next item is an additional add to request from Capital. We've had 2 units at Snowden to go out, one the week before, or the week of the last board meeting, and then one this past week, but both of them are trained units. They're both over 20 years of age. One supplies the guidance counselor's office and surrounding areas, the other one does the band room. We did get a quote in from Robertson Heating and Air, and they priced the comfort maker and the train. The train, of course, is what we have, and they use the aluminum coils. The comfort maker has the copper coils. It's a little bit heavier duty industrial unit. So it would be my recommendation that we go with the carry units in the 2 rooms, and the band room would be $9,185 with tax included, and 300 building would be $8,325 tax included.
Why have we only got 1 bid?
That's all we could get in the time that we got it. It's not, we didn't have a chance to send out an RFP to everybody, but it was the only ones we could get to go to Snowden to look at it.
Okay.
So if y'all want me to send it out for bid, we just have to make do for another 2 weeks till we come back before you. That's just what we can get.
In this particular area, the school does not use those bar units.
No, sir. They have actual units.
They have actual units, okay.
Just like you have in your residence, they're split system heat pumps.
That's
And if you
about,
want me to bid it, we can bid it, but we just need approval for funding to bid it. So
that's about the best price you can get on those units.
well, the one that we got it from is one of our regular bidders that switch back and forth. So at times he's a few dollars higher, and times he's a few dollars lower. But that's y'all's choice.
Mark, where do we stand on the money in that?
I talked to Willie Mack today. We have, we're working on a revised capital budget to present to you just for your information, but he thinks he strongly believes, based on money saved from last year, that our 18 budget will actually have that 17,000 in it. So we won't have to take from any current projects. That will be basically capital fund balance.
Okay.
Because we had some finished projects that carried over to the.
He and I looked at it a while ago, the money is available in saved projects.
I was just saying, we're doing a whole lot of voting on faith tonight, but.
Trust me, Mr. Williams, I got you.
One of these had some math on it.
You got me, does that mean, that means you cut?
You shouldn't have had it, the math.
Willie Mack nominated Willie Mack to
There
cover
were some issues with some of the POs, so
Whatever.
there's money saved.
I was saying, there was one that showed money saved versus what you'd spent and all, but I don't see it in this now. That I was looked at earlier today.
We want to revise that.
Okay.
The exact dollar figure.
There was some dollar discrepancy between our bookkeeping and Willie Mack's bookkeeping, so we decided to pull it.
All right, what's the feeling of the group on the units down at Snowden? What you want to do?
We got money?
Yeah.
Since I'm sitting here with such a faith-filled bunch of people, I guess I can go along with it.
Yes.
I got a motion? Do I have a second?
Right.
Got to stay cool.
All right, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? See none? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Have we fixed the air conditioning at Washington High School? I don't like that look.
I don't know what's the matter with it.
It was hot in there the other time. That's what was wrong with it. It was hot. Have you been in there, Andrea? It's hot, right? That's what's
I haven't
wrong.
seen a work order or anything on anybody, from anybody.
Not everybody over there is my age, but it was hot for somebody my age. I know
I've
that.
been in the building before all the students showed up. That's there all sucking up the air.
It's cool at the front, but it's,
All
Andrea,
wing,
it is hot.
throughout all the wings, all 4 or 5.
You were back in the sauna, right?
I felt like
So it was warm back there?
Was that today, Miss Carolyn?
Huh?
Was it today?
I'm sorry. No, it was
Okay, but I know they
Monday. Monday.
Okay, I know they were there
And I
today
haven't
doing
talked
the
to
service on
anybody.
the chiller today.
Right, I haven't talked to anybody yesterday or today, but it sure was hot on Monday. It's so hot that if I was in a classroom, I would not be perceptive to.
The gym reported being hot, but that was the only work
Well,
order
the
I've seen.
gym's always hot. This was classrooms, and they were hot. They weren't warm, they were hot.
It's not passing along to us.
I started to, okay.
All right, Stan.
Well, maybe it's been fixed,
Move
but
on.
if not, please address it.
Carry on, Stan. You got the message. And listen, all these money that we've approved for you to spend, bring the change back, okay? All right?
I'd say from all my first 3 projects, we saved money tonight. So.
Just bring the change back.
Just keep that on the roll.
Okay, well, I need to spend some more of that money here in just a minute.
Which one y'all stand?
Eastern Elementary, the kitchen is putting in a new freezer, that they need valuable freezer space. We were kind of landlocked at this site, well, we are landlocked at the site, and really the only place that we could find to put it in the proximity of the kitchen would be to put it in the old boiler room, which is adjacent to the very bottom of the ramp. And we had the boiler room cleaned out, cleaned all the old storage and accumulation of stuff, but the freezer is going to be put in the next week or 2. It's been ordered and everything's supposed to be on its way. We wrote up an RFP for the awning and sent it out to our local contractors, and we did receive 2 bids back. And this awning would go from the top of the ramp down the side of the building to cover the awning, to give these ladies some coverage from rain or snow or whatever bad weather's having to go outside to their freezer. Most all of other schools, the freezer is inside, but we just didn't have that availability at Eastern. So I would like to ask for y'all to approve funding from capital of an amount of $5,400, including taxes, for the installation of the awning. And if y'all don't see fit, if you would give me permission to pay for the maintenance budget.
Just make
Has Child Nutrition got the money to pay for it?
I asked the same, and they did. She said she's splitting the cost of a battery. We had a battery on the forklift this week that went bad, right at $5,000 on the battery-operated forklift, and she's splitting the cost with us on that.
Why would she do that? Because the forklift helps her?
Well,
Is that part of
that's her
their?
forklift, yes, but
theirs?
it belongs to the
I
school.
got you.
But they use it for unloading their trucks. It's a
That-
tractor when they unload the
foods and
the
everything.
USDA truck and that stuff with, so.
I'm just thinking back. I was just going to say, Mark, just remember, I told you it wouldn't hurt him to take $50,000 out of his maintenance budget when we needed him to balance our budget, and now he's offering to pay for this, so I told you he had the money.
No, y'all got
We did take 50 out.
Y'all did take 50.
We did take 50 out.
Took 50 out, but, and I remember that, Stan, remember, we got y'all 50, but yet you still have enough money to pay for this.
Well,
so you
it's
must
early in
have
the
been
year.
okay.
Well, it's early in the year.
It's early, that's
We're
all.
banking hard, so.
We're having to know the
You
breaks.
sure you want to make that offer is what
Well,
I
I'm
was
making an
gonna
offer.
say.
I would love for it to come from capital because
Well, I
I
don't-
just saved way over that in the other 3 projects
Well,
that
I
we
keep hearing
approved
capital.
tonight.
But
So
I
Yeah, but
keep
you
hearing
just
capital
spent it at Snowden.
I
though.
know. We were told we didn't have
Now, we
it.
sent
I think we'll have a
Snowden
revised
money
capital
from last
budget
year's
next
fund
month.
savings.
Request. The next time we're going to cover this many budget issues, have Willie Mack set
I will.
here.
I would like to have had that revised issue before we agreed to spend
We
that
need a
money.
finance
personally.
manager in here, director in here for this stuff.
This one can wait the next time.
Well, he keeps telling us we don't have any money. That's why I'm saying-
I'm not as worried
Y'all
about
got
this
something
one
I
as
don't know.
the 17,000 one. I would like to have, known for sure. I'm taking Mark at his word. so
Well,
I'm-
Willie Mack and I talked about it this afternoon. That's,
Okay.
I mean, that's why, I mean,
Okay.
that I believe we have the 17,000 for held over from savings from last year that. they
And
weren't
he
in
and
the
I
budget.
did, we met too while y'all were in closed session and went over some numbers and the money
Make
is
sure you-
available. Yes.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact amount we had saved.
But I want you to have a revised
Right.
printout with the information on it. So-
But when you come back, we want to hear you make that statement without believe in it. Take the believe word out.
Well, the man told me we had the money, I believe him. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. He showed me the budget with a number on it, it was more than 17,000.
Okay, so believe in that text.
I believe
We
in that
believe
number.
what he's saying.
Yes, I believe what he's saying.
Okay, folks, we've got a request here to spend $5,400. I need a motion to accept.
Well, sounds like we believe we have the money.
And he's offering to pay it out of his budget, so I want
Well,
to...
one thing I'm concerned, we've already taken money out of the envelope stuff we were gonna do at Northeast and Northside, and I mean, I know he saved some money up here, that could also go back to what we've
Right.
taken out of that.
Right,
So,
we did take a lot.
I make a motion, we either table this to find out exactly what we've got from left over from last year, or either he do it out of his maintenance budget.
Well, he's already offered to take it.
I'm gonna wait.
I mean, you may have to do it,
We can
next
do a
month.
budget transfer later, so.
I knew he'd wait after we reminded him of the 50,000
Yeah.
we took.
So I'm gonna make that as a motion.
Okay, I'll second that then.
You want to make,
Table it over.
table it? Okay. All
Can we
right.
get Willie Mack in here and find out what we really got?
We can do it.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I prefer not, for Stan not to take it out of his budget because as
Yeah, I
you
don't
said,
wanna
Mr.
take it
Chairman,
from
we're at
it.
the beginning of the year.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't need to take it off this month.
All right. All in favor of this motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We're going to table it. All right. Okay, Mr. Stan, you got a couple more down there.
Yes, sir. P.S. Jones soccer field, football field, they're requesting to build a viewing deck. Funding will be paid for by the athletic department. They want to build an 8x8 deck, built out of saltwood products between the 2 bleachers, existing bleachers, and I attached a Google Earth picture of it that kind of shows the field. And they want to put it between it and behind it so it doesn't block the view from either of our spectators sitting in the stands. It'll be approximately 8 foot high, and they're going to build it out of saltwood and Trek. And they're asking permission to put it there. I told them I would.
Are you okay with that?
Yes, sir. I've been out and looked at it, and
No cost to us.
no cost to us, just putting it on our property.
I just ask that you make sure that everything's built safely. And we're,
They're screwing it all together and using brackets and steps and rails.
railing and
Correct.
good
Yes, sir.
right
Right.
steps and all that, because anybody will go out there and climb on it, so. Move approval.
Second. Got a motion and a second? All right. All in favor of this motion, okay? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. All right.
And my last one tonight, taking direction on the Washington High School, Bradford Pear, and the Circle Drive. Last week in our recent thunderstorm, we lost another third of the tree, or almost another good half, a good section of it. So there's about half the trees there, you can see it standing, it's very, very top-sided to one side, and Mr. Swinson and I looked at it, and it definitely needs to come down, but we need y'all's approval to take it and grind the stump and possibly put something back. I didn't know if y'all wanted to put something bigger back. It has been the focal point of a lot of pictures for the school over the years, where they go stand and have their group pictures and that kind of thing, but it's definitely overgrown. It was put there when the school was built, and
You have the means to remove it at no
yes, ma'am.
cost,
Yeah, we
right?
can cut the tree down and haul the tree off. That's not a problem. We'd have to hire somebody to grind the stump, of course.
And we have a new ag teacher out there, and I would like for us to invite her, not to a meeting, but invite her to weigh in on maybe that being a project for her department as to what they plant at the front of the school. It's just a suggestion, because she's a very dynamic person with a lot about Erin Massey. And she may have, I just don't want us to jump in and plant something and maybe...
Southside's doing some of the same things with their ag class.
Right.
They're
Just give her an
doing some
opportunity
planting
if she
stuff
would
out
like it, is
front
what I'm
and
saying.
Cleaning up some of the shrubs that got killed this past year in the freeze that we had, so they're taking that as a project to clean that up.
Yeah, and I'm
do
not
it, so.
suggesting she have to remove or clean this. I'm suggesting she have an opportunity to maybe plant something as...
I need y'all's permission to take the rest of what's there down.
Motion got a second? Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank y'all
That it?
very much.
All right. Thank you,
Can I
sir.
ask you a quick question?
Yes, sir.
On our budget, we always have money set aside as for painting. I know we use it at various locations, and we're still early in the year, so you haven't probably done any planning on what you're going to paint, or
We
what-
didn't have any
'cause I
money.
I
There's
have
no
a-
money in this year's capital.
none
What
at all
was
was
coming
put
from
in
our
there for
budget?
that this year?
Nothing. There was not a line item. We had one, but during our refining and cutting and our third cut, we lost paint money. We had $20,000 set aside for it.
Okay, all right, well then the next request wouldn't matter then. I got a call from Chalkawinby Middle, and I went out there, I was going opening day anyway, so I went out there and they carried me out to the field house. Did they ask you about that? I mean, the paint's half off, it's absolutely
I
horrible.
told them I would furnish the paint if they
You did
could find
tell them that?
some. Yes, because
Do you
I did the
mind
same thing for Southside.
Okay, I think his question was how to get it all off. I didn't know if he could, talking about Mr. Swain.
Right.
Because they'd already handled painting the dugouts and all of that.
Correct.
So all they
I
were left
furnished
with
that.
was the building,
Yeah.
and it was terrible. It needed scraping or something. I told him
We
I
have a
could use
pressure washer. We'll
or
take it all.
whatever.
Okay.
Good pressure washer, take care of that.
We got a 10,000-pound pressure
Do you mind
washer.
just contacting
Yes,
Mr.?
sir.
I told him I would look into it, but I didn't know what look into it meant.
Well, I'll have the guys do it.
Well,
I'm
just
having
at least just check
rotator
with
cuff surgery tomorrow, and I'm gonna be out for a
Yeah,
couple
you'll be
weeks.
out. Okay.
Have you ever got a hold of Spencer down in Bath about that?
Cleaning the building, they're supposed to do that. Work order's been written.
Okay.
They're supposed to they wanted to get in school and get the custodians
Right, that's
up
what
and
the
then get
last
out
time we
there. That's
talked.
exactly, that's what they all agreed on, to get out there
Join the
together and
crowd.
go through what's there. So,
I know, you told me earlier you were going to have your shoulder surgery. I forgot about that. Who, if I need to call anybody while you're out, who's over
Joe
there?
Carolyn is
Joe
going
is?
to be working in my absence.
Okay, I know Joe.
Mark and I have talked about it. I had a discussion with all my staff today. Pete Lee's going to be backing up the air conditioning side, keeping a double check on that side of it, so.
Well, I'll just check with Joe. Okay, but you can
Yeah,
Joe
I'm
call.
going back to the office to do
Yeah,
some
just
stuff
send him to call
for Willie
Swain
Mack, so
and
I'll send him
what
an
he
email
wants.
that's
Okay.
okay to
All right.
proceed.
Good luck,
Okay,
sir.
all right.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank y'all.
Stan, good luck.
Thanks.
Next item is 6.5, field trip approval.
Nothing to add other than these are field trips with the correct number of chaperones, permissions, charter buses, what have you.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
And I think, Mr. TW, in the future on the field trips, and Mark or Lisa can tell you, when you send X amount of students, you have to have X amount of chaperones, and sometimes that's kind of they'll tell you that they're getting more chaperones, but they may not be listed. So if you have a question, always ask them.
I thought that was the job of the newest board member, to be the chaperone.
Yeah,
Y'all hadn't told
I
him
think that works.
Oh, moving right along. Updates.
Chairman has to show me how to do it.
Oh, yes. Well, I'll tell you after the meeting.
Trip to DC
Done?
would be
You want to talk about the
I said
calendar?
the chairman has to show me.
The chairman.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Don't want me.
The board has September 4th is a special call meeting, just a closed session for personnel. I believe the School Board Association will be here to speak with you in closed session about the superintendent search. Then we have our September 11th, our work session for the board at 5:30, and then September 25th is our regular monthly meeting at 5:30.
Okay. And that's all we have right now,
And
scheduled.
tomorrow night, we got the banquet at 6.
We do. We'd have the Principal of the Year / Teacher of the Year banquet tomorrow night at 6 at Ed Tech. Yes, sir.
Board member updates?
I would just like to make a quick statement and then to the public and just, I know there's been some changes in bus routes and schedules and things like that, and just ask people to be patient with our bus drivers and people, if they're late. I've seen some complaints and heard some things, but just, we're just in the third day of school, so just be patient and give them some time to get used to the new routes and new things they're doing. So, that's it.
Point well taken. It happens every year. Anybody else got anything? All right, Mr. Doon, superintendent update.
How's that? Just that school did start on Monday for all our traditional schools, and that we're up and running and off and running, I would say, and so far so good, and hope it continues. We've had a lot of support from our parents and our community, and we greatly appreciate it. We hope it continues.
Anybody else have anything? Just want to tell everybody here, go ahead and start looking at your calendar. I know we're talking about our other meetings, but we got some work to do with some applicants. And if you all know you've got certain nights that you're going to be obligated, if you can, let me know what nights they are coming up next week or in the weeks to come, because we're going to have to start setting out some schedules to whoever we're going to be talking to, okay?
I mean, as far as interviews.
Right.
Will Allison kind of lead us into how quickly we need to do that?
She will lead you.
Will those all be at night, Mac, or will we be able to meet anytime during the day for some of them?
That will be our call. That will be our call.
I'm sure some of these people.
If the person wants to interview, they'll come when we tell them to come.
Yeah, I know,
but we don't need to talk.
But if they run on for a while, I didn't know if we wanted to be here till midnight.
I think probably.
Well, if they're going to do a lot of daytime stuff, unfortunately, I'm not going to be very available
I don't
for
think a
it.
lot.
But we need to know how your schedules are, and so we know how to plan.
Till August 1st and during the day, I'm blocked up bad.
Okay. See, that's what I need to know.
Yeah.
So if you all can just shoot me an email so I can have that, so I can share that with Allison, so we can
pick out the best night.
That's right.
I can only do
I mean, it's unfortunate, but
you got life.
we all work too.
That's right. Exactly.
That's right.
And I would think most of them are also working, so for the most part, they want to interview in the evening. But you're right, we can't do 5 in one evening if they take us.
No.
DW, you want to pay that light bill.
They want my
Keep his
money,
job,
too.
and I want to keep mine. Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion, Ms. P, to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Not second.
All right. All in
Thank you.
favor, stand up. Meeting adjourned.
Yep, good night.